Anderson, Martin, post-fight thoughts. Let's go.
Push the weight and now flex. The livest one in the section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker hot stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. Nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Fight just ended. I'm waiting to hear the final announcement. Of course, I know Jared Anderson won. It was a 10-round true heavyweight bout. To be honest with you guys, I was a little biased going in because Charles Martin is my guy. You know what I'm saying? Met him. He's a wonderful dude. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, couldn't help but to root for the guy. You know, I'm looking back and forth at the television as I do this video to get the official announcement. Let's talk about some things. First of all, Charles came in. You know, he didn't look sloppy or nothing like that. I think he was a little sharper versus King Kong Ortiz. I think he was a lot sharper. Punches was more crispy. Same thing when he fought Gerald Washington. If you go back and watch those two fights and then look at the fight tonight, you see the difference. Again, y'all, he took this fight to notice who he was fighting. Basically, experience carried him to the end. He wasn't busy enough. Jared outworked him, but you saw some things. Now let's talk about the things that we did see. First and foremost, you know, salute to Jared Anderson. You know, he was at home. Those home fights got to be tough because you want to please the audience. You want to close the show. You also don't want to lose. Like I said, I'm waiting for them to. I'm waiting for the official announcement right now. He won. You know, it's a 10-round fight, but there was a few things that I saw, which I won't completely discuss in this whole video. I'll go live tomorrow, LDBC Strong and Stormy B-Man, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll get into it in depth. There are some things he needs to fix. I don't like how he pulls straight back. Charles Martin is the bigger guy. I know what he was trying to do. Well, at least I like to think I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to take Jared Anderson in the deep water and drown him. He took him into deep water, and you saw some things. This was the first time, I believe this is the first time Jared has been past 5 or 6 rounds, something of that nature. He was hurt in round 5. He was hurt, and the experience kicked in. And that's why I was looking. I said, man, I don't know if Charles, he was in shape, but I don't know. Like, it would have been interesting to see how that would have panned out had he had a full camp focused on Jared Anderson. This was short notice, and this is why this was a dangerous fight for Jared Anderson. So, you know, salute to him because Charles Martin's a former champion, and you know, granted the conditions in which he got the belt, you know, but he was a former champion. But he's I guess you could say he's an OG of the sport. He's still a formidable opponent, and you know, this was Jared's test, and he passed. But I'll give him a C. I'll give him a C because I don't like how he pulls straight back. And when Charles Martin decided to throw that left hand, it landed, man. And he was pulling straight back, and it got him in trouble. Charles Martin hurt him. As a matter of fact, had Jared, again, I gotta think, had Charles Martin had like a full 2-month training camp dedicated to Jared Anderson, he might have been able to deal with him a little better. Not to say that he would have like won or something like that, but you saw in round 5, he stopped going backwards. He stood his ground. He exchanged, which is always dangerous because Jared's a big puncher. But Charles touched him up and hurt him, man. And Jared had to go to a plan B, and plan B was the jab. round 6, he got back to business. Charles Martin, it looked like he might have taken that round off. I don't know if his cardio was up to par. I don't know. But like I said, if you go back, look at this fight. You go back and look at when he fought King Kong Ortiz and Gerald Washington, fights like that. He was a lot more sharp. Ortiz got him out of there, but he was sharp with King Kong Ortiz. Very sharp. Dropped him a couple of times. Round 10, it was, again, a 10-round fight. There was no belts involved. Round 10, they got into an exchange towards the very end of the fight, and Charles landed on him again and pushed him back. And this is one of those things where I'm saying to myself, wow, what if this was 12 rounds? How would this have shaped up? I don't know. It's like every time Charles stood his ground and he started firing back, that left hand was landing, and Charles was the bigger guy, but he understood that Jared is a big puncher. So I understood the game plan, and for a guy that comes in on 2 weeks' notice, a crafty veteran, because that's what Charles Martin is, he's a crafty veteran, we got a 10-round fight. So the KO streak is over for Jared Anderson. And what does that mean? Probably nothing. I'm not going to take anything away from Jared Anderson. He did what he had to do. Fighting at home is always tough. Again, he got the win. But people saw that, brother. People saw that. And there's a lot of guys saying, hey, man, if he don't fix that against me, this guy's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He's a full meal. If he don't fix that against me, I could get him. So it makes you wonder. I give him a C. On this, but we'll talk about it. You guys we can agree to disagree. But shout out to my guy, Charles Martin, man. He did his thing. He did the best he could with the amount of time he had to prep. He came in shape. And you see, that's another thing. At heavyweights, it's, the big guys, it's real easy to get out of shape. It's very easy to get out of shape. And, he didn't know. He was supposed to fight on the undercard of the Tank. The Tank versus Ryan Garcia fight. He was supposed to fight on that undercard. And his opponent, I don't know, he couldn't get a visa or something. I forget. But what ended up happening was, I guess he remained in shape and said, I fight when I fight. And then this opportunity presented itself. No, I believe Jared Anderson's opponent had a visa issue. And I forget what was the issue with Charles Martin's opponent on Garcia Tank undercard. But he remained in shape, and he said, F it, I'll take this fight. And I'm going to tell you something. He had some moments in here, and you saw some things. So Jared needs to work on. I don't know if it was jitters or that's just who he is as a fighter. I don't know. But he needs to work on some things. The grade is C for me. Y'all let me know what it is for you. And salute to Charles Martin. That's my guy. And I'm going to give him a text in a little while. I just looked at the television. Jared got the win, of course. It was a unanimous decision on my cards too. But salute to both guys. They both got out safe, and salute to Jared Anderson's dog. He was in attendance. What is his dog name? Azul. Shout out to Azul, the dog. And y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Browns on deck.
Move!